The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Hope you all are doing well. I'm Elder Ricard Shiar of the Gathered of Christ Church. How are you? I hope my brothers and sisters out there worldwide is doing fine. And yes, as we've just played in the commercial, the Hebrew and Bible Academy for you will begin February 6th. Hope to see you there. A lot of information that we'll be delving into, okay? Another thing we're going to be talking about in the academy, that it was prophesied at the very end that all Gentile heathenistic religions would get exposed, okay? So we're going to have a lesson in which we talk about the collusion within religion. Okay, you don't want to miss this. The world religions, collusion against the children of Israel. And you can name it, whatever religion you want, whether it be Buddhist, Judaism, Islam, modern day Christianity. All of these religions has joined together under Satan to target the children of Israel, the chosen people within the earth. Okay, as a barrier between us and our God. Now listen, if someone wants to worship what they want to worship, that's their business. But at the end of the day, keep in mind, when other races follow a religion, it benefits their nation. They can see the outcome, the benefit of actually dealing with that particular religion. And yes, and I'm talking about resources. The God they serve provides for them. Okay? So that's the benefit of the other nations following these religions of the heathen. But why are we? So I'm going to be going into that and more in the Hebrew and Bible Academy. You don't want to miss it. I'll also be going more so into the spiritual realm. Okay? How our bodies or our spirits pass through portals on the way into life and on the way out of life. And then you'll get some concepts and to understand exactly how the angels travel through the four gates. I'm going to be going into that, that and more in the Hebrew and Bible Academy. Now, strictly when we come here every Friday, it's usually a segue. We segue into our Patreon discussions, okay? Our Patreon discussions usually start around 1 p.m., between 1 p.m. and 1:30 every Friday. So you would need to become a Patreon member to be a part of the discussion, okay? All right, let me put this out real quick, all right? Yes, the Hebrew and Bible Academy will start February 6th. Okay, in a couple of weeks. So do us a favor if you're seeking to be a part of this, and I'm talking about serious news that's not allowed on this platform between me and Shapat. Lawyer going into the Hebrew. And I'm going to tell you, there's people who thought that they could never conceptually retain the concepts of Hebrew. You're going to find that once the way Lawyer breaks this down, you'll be able to look at an English word and know what it is in Hebrew. Okay. You'll be able to open the Bible and see that word and say, okay, based on the Hebrew 101 in the academy, boom. I'm able to look at the English in the King James Version and know what it is in Hebrew. You'll do that. These are people who are usually intimidated by languages. Hebrew is one of the more simplest languages to learn. Okay, so we have that for 3 months. We have the news, and of course, the lessons are sent to you in a link, a classroom platform. We put a lot of resources into making this experience better for you, just like being in a class. All right, so I hope to see you there February the 6th in our Hebrew and Bible Academy. You don't want to miss it. Okay, now usually this is just a segue into our Patreon, right? Before I go into what we'll be discussing on Patreon in about 9 minutes, actually, let me ask a question. As an individual, and brothers and sisters, let's be honest. As individuals, do we really truly in our heart forgive like God in Christ expects us to forgive? Do we really? Do we really forgive like Christ and God expects us? We always say, usually when we're in the wrong, we expect someone to forgive us, right? But do we truly forgive? And I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow. Socially rich, spiritually poor. It seems as if it seems as much as we have acquired financially and lifestyle and socially within this construct called capitalism, the trade-off is the fact that we've lost our friends over something petty. That's the trade-off. And I'm going to be talking about that. So spiritually, socially rich, spiritually poor tomorrow. Because at the end of the day, if we don't have friends, we don't have the people who we have loved at the end of our life, what really was our life about? What type of legacy did we leave for ourselves without friends? And I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow. All right. And we're going to talk about that more tomorrow in our Sabbath, socially rich, spiritually poor. I'm going to say this, sisters, in particular, please watch yourself online. Right now, all women are being targeted, but at the end of the day, when something is being targeted, we as a people take the brunt of it. Okay, it affects us exponentially more than any other race of people. And in particular, black women are actually being targeted right now. They are being targeted online through tracking systems and all that. It's to a degree that when you buy bras and all that, you have to check to see if some electronics or something are in your tags. Okay. This, brothers and sisters, this is how intertwined and how close we are through this technology and being tracked. That when you purchase something, you don't expect a tracker in your clothing that will link a person that an individual or a stalker been actually looking at online. The internet has become a stalker's dream. So sisters, in particular, because a lot of our sisters are coming up missing, being targeted, they being catfished online. Sisters, please be careful. When we came out of Egypt, the cowards targeted the elderly and the women and the children who were in the back of the caravan. Speaking of Amalek, and we're in a time of technology, this is how they're getting the weak of our people. This is how they are attacking us. This is how they're killing us. Okay? You notice we went through a phase where our elderly were being put down and targeted. And then with these so-called diseases, cancer, diabetes, and all this stuff, when we come down to it, it's all come down to it. I'm going to show you the history of this in our Patreon, brothers and sisters. So they started targeting our elderly first. Make them believe that they have a disease in them or something is wrong. Engineered euthanization through a slow process. Okay? So they got that part, and they're still targeting our elderly brothers and sisters in the community. But on top of that, online, we're out there getting the attention, and that attention is drawing into our vanity, only to be lured to a hole, lured to a place where no one can find you. All I'm going to say, sisters, you be extra careful, because really, that's not really an area men have to be too worried about when it comes to the online thing. Usually when a man meets somebody online or whatever, he's already prepared himself to protect himself. And he's willing, even if he loses life, to go down fighting. Now, usually a man is not going to target a guy like that. It'll be a girl luring a guy out through online. It's usually a girl, where there's a mob of people waiting, like the sister who end up being used as a human shield because she tried to set up a guy. So usually when guys go to meet someone, they're prepared for a rip down, take down event if necessary. Okay? This is why men are seldom targeted online. But you sisters, even if you have protection, even if you thought it all the way out, you are not a man. You will be lured into a situation that you thought you were prepared to deal with. And at the end of the day, it's going to come down to mano a mano. Your physicality against his. So I'm just going to put this out there, and I hope you all are listening. Be very careful, sisters. I'm praying for you all, but do not expose yourselves to unwarranted people. Never talk to strangers. Never deal with strangers. That's what we were taught coming up. Boy, how society has changed. But anyway, I pray for you. But like, we can only protect you as far as you're willing to protect yourselves. Okay? And I want to talk about that coming up in some of our blogs. I have to segue over, but before I do, brothers and sisters, let me talk about what we'll be discussing. What we will be discussing today. Hold on. We will be discussing mainstream media, doctors' calls for the end of the DVOC 91 restrictions, because they're segueing. I want to talk about that. Doctors are speaking up. That's mainstream media. I'm not going to play that because, I'm just tired of this fair use stuff and all of the the verbal gymnastics one must do to continue to actually communicate on YouTube. So this is what we're going to be dealing with on Patreon in a couple of moments, in 1 minute. Plagues and diseases. Are plagues and diseases, do they organically come up within a society? Or brothers and sisters, or is it part of government construct to control a population. 16-minute video we're going to go over first. Last but not least, we're going to talk about what doctors are saying out there. Doctors are saying out there who are being censored. What is it? Did people within the last couple of years, did they take on a life form, a parasitical but yet spiritual demon, listening to mainstream for the last 2 years? We're going to answer that question, that and more on Patreon. Okay, so brothers and sisters, stay in the spirit, stay prayed up, sin not. And let's go back to the beginning of this video and really reflect on the question I asked. Do we truly forgive when we're slighted? And if we're honest with ourselves, the answer is no. There's always a seed of negativity, even when we continue to interact against a person that offended us. How do we root that out? How do we root that out of us? That non-trust. At the end of the day, brothers and sisters, with what's coming down the pipeline, we're going to need our friends. Next, this year, not only are we heightened in prayer and spirituality, this year, especially in the church, our church, the Gathering of Christ Church, we're going to actually be focusing in on physical fitness. Physical fitness. Getting our body prepared for what's coming. And it doesn't matter how we got here. It doesn't matter how we got here. No more excuses. There's a lot of land to jog around. We're going to have to take a little bit off the fork and discipline ourselves when it comes to what we'll eat and get our bodies ready in case of physical engagement. Okay? Because at the end of the day, like I've mentioned, we cannot expect anyone to love us or care for us more than ourselves. Brothers and sisters, you only get one body. Obesity is a demon called gluttony. And you can't excuse your way and hope people understand what got you there. That's not you speaking, that's a demon. Knowing that once you get yourself physically in shape, that demon must find someone else to feed his or hers insatiable appetite. The book of Enoch tell you the demons hunger and thirst, but are never satisfied. So it's time for us to take ourselves back to junior high school and high school and understand that physical fitness, not to get to that level, but to understand it's possible if we're willing to have gym on our own, even after school, jog, walk a little bit, get some air, and be cognitive of your weight. Because when it's time, those who will engage you, be it male or female, will be in shape. Will be in shape, and you will be what? A casualty. So this year we're going to focus on what? Diet and physical fitness, because that's all intertwined in one. The spirit and the body. The physical aspect of it. And we cannot let ourselves go anymore. And at the end of it, become sick, get on pills, and put the burden on our family to carry us. No more. It's irresponsible. It's wrong. And what I'm going to do, I have REI. I got other people. We're going to see what we can do to start putting it out there so that if people want to exercise in the morning and brothers and sisters and all that, here's a link you can go to, boom, online or whatever. Go join into the physical fitness. We have the Bible over here, okay? But it's all working. It all works in one. So if you understand that we have let ourselves go or whatever the case is, it's no need to feel sorry or feel, to the point where I've let myself go to the point where there is no return. No, there's no better time to start than today. Walking turns into jogging. Jogging turns into running. I went and got me some serious weight sets and all that. I'm going to set up my dumbbells and all that. And you know what? Hey, I was down for about a month dealing with my mother and all that. And then, I got a little cold for about a week or so. But hey, I'm ready to go. All right. So I'm just saying, I'm not going to talk to y'all about doing something that I'm not willing to do myself. Okay, I got to get my physicality all the way up. And you know what? I will. All right. With that, it's time to segue over into Patreon. All right. Patreon. Patreon /A Gathering 144. Now, the issue that goes on with Patreon and people are frustrated with it. Why? Because they expect when they go to Patreon that they'll be able to see the video just like on YouTube. Just click and boom, I'm before you. It's a little different. All right. Patreon uses what? A video source outside of it on the page. So what you would need to do if you are a Patreon member, okay, you have to make sure as a Patreon member that you hit the play. You're not going to initially see the play until the mouse goes over it. You'll see a little triangle there. You must hit the play, and then at the bottom, you must unmute. There's a speaker with a line there at the bottom. So you must hit the triangle and unmute to have the Patreon experience, or it's going to frustrate you. You'll be commenting, what's going on? Every time I come here, there's nothing. No, you have to hit the speaker to hear, okay? So again, it's time to segue over into Patreon. You all stay strong. May the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. Sin not. We'll see you tomorrow in the Sabbath service. Brothers and sisters, I would really like you to enroll in our Hebrew and Bible Academy and not miss what's coming, because there's a lot of real-time events, information, prophecy that's going on in the Middle East that you'll never hear over here in America with the controlled media. I would like y'all to get in there so at least y'all can get the information and be on point with us. Even if something real time happened that day, you'll get it. Many times there be events happening while the academy is going on. So for your sake, staying in the know, be a part of that Hebrew and Bible Academy. I can't stress that enough. I can't stress it enough, the benefit of actually being a part of that, okay? Go to historytimes.org, and I hope to see you there February 6th. Love you. Stay prayed up. Sin not. I'll see you tomorrow, if it be the Most High's will. Shalom. Come on, our Patreon members. We have a lot to talk about. And the phone lines will be open. Shalom. Shalom.